So today we'll start seated. So find either you sit on your mat, the floor, whatever you have available. If you need a bit of propping under your sit bones, maybe a cushion or a pillow. And do what you can do to find yourself sitting high and tall on your sit bones. And then if crossing the legs works for you, then that's what you do. If you want to stretch them out, that's great. And place your hands wherever they're comfortable, in your lap or on your legs. And just gently shift forwards and back a couple of times. And gently roll your shoulders side to side. Just tiny little movements. We're just giving our spine an opportunity to stack. And then close your eyes. Close your eyes for a moment. And notice your weight dropping into sit bones. And as you close your eyes, you might notice a whole lot of things that are going on within you. And simply notice. Usually when I close my eyes to sit in meditation, I notice that my shoulders are somewhere up towards my ears and I'm holding a whole lot of tension that I wasn't aware of. So maybe use this moment to bring your attention to your exhalations and use these conscious exhalations to just let go. Maybe letting go of the shoulders so they can drop into place. Letting go of lots of thinking or tension you might be holding in the hips. So whatever it is, and maybe even exhaling with the open mouth, really breathing it out. So that in a moment there's nothing left but this moment. So that we can really, really, truly arrive and be here. So closing eyes and turning your inner gaze upwards. And just check in, notice what's all part of this moment. How am I feeling? What state am I in? What sounds might I hear around me? What might I feel on my skin or inside my body on a physical level? Or on an emotional level, we simply take note. We pause for a moment. We notice that the mind tends to be very busy and keeps driving us. Now we use the mind to notice, to observe, to step into a space of openness and curiosity. I think there's a reason why curiosity and courage somehow sound similar, at least in my mind. Because once we've learned to approach every moment with curiosity, we actually find ourselves being tremendously courageous. When we're curious, there's no fear. When we're curious, we are open and inquisitive towards what is. Isn't that the same as being courageous? So being curious means we let go of stories we hold about a certain thing and we really delve into what's ahead of us. So I invite you to see, maybe there's a situation or something in your life that pops up where you feel you'd like to be a little more courageous or which is challenging for you. And just bring it up and let it sit there. And then park it under your mat, slide it under your carpet, just let it be. And come back to breath. So, still sitting with your eyes closed. See if you can create a bit more length into your spine. Taking our attention both to inhalations and exhalations, evening them out, lengthen and stretch your breath, deepen your breath, and notice what it feels like to simply be. Just be. Nowhere else to be, just here and now. Find that spaciousness, that stillness within. And on our next inhalation, we'll slowly open our eyes. We'll tilt our head from side to side. Maybe rolling chin forwards and back. If you want to keep your eyes closed, you can also do that. Just gently opening the neck, opening the back of the neck. Lifting one ear at a time up towards the sky. We center ourselves out. We bring our hands back behind us. So fingertips on your mat behind. And then roll your shoulders down. So up towards shoulders, slightly shoulder blades down. Bring your hands down onto earth and lift your chest wide. So courageous. Courage to me always means strong center and an open heart. Strong foundation so that we can reach and lean. So those are the elements we'll work on today. Our foundation, our center, and our openness in the heart. From here, come back up onto sit bones. Interlock your fingers and maybe swap your feet now. Just to level it out. So we interlock our fingers, turn our palms outwards, pressing into palms. Slide your shoulder blades down, drop your elbows down towards earth. So your arms are extended, but as if you wanted to point your elbows down. And then start lifting your arms up. And see where they rest. They might end up all the way above your head, or they might just be here. At the same time, you want to extend your tailbone down and away. And you want to lift through your pelvic floor and through your navel up into crown. As if you were lifting the ceiling, but not with your hands, with your crown. So with every inhale you grow taller, and with every exhale you soften through the periphery. So your shoulder blades soften down, your lower ribs soften down, and then take your inhalation to grow even taller, as if your sit bones now hover over the mat, reaching tall into crown, and reach your hands a little further back and stay with it. Stay with it. Your body might be shouting. If you want to even lift your gaze up, but honor and nurture where you're at in your body today. Relax your thighs, relax your legs. Every inhale you make a little more space. With every exhale you soften and ground. Use your breath. Breathing up through your center, exhaling through your periphery, finding softness. And then if we're looking up, we take our gaze forwards. We release our hands, have our palms face towards one another, and then as we exhale, see if we can slide our shoulders a little further down. We inhale to grow even taller through our spine and twist left. Let's start left. Twist left, navel up and in, twisting. And exhale, hands down onto knee and one onto the mat behind you. Slide your shoulders down, look over your back shoulder. Keep lifting and lengthening through your center. Keep softening through your periphery. Just taking note, where am I at today? What am I feeling? Maybe here while you're twisting, you want to arch and round your spine. See what works for you, wherever you can make space. And then on our next inhalation, we slowly center ourselves up, bring our hands up, sliding shoulders down, and then going the other way. From your center, twisting, hands come down, roll your shoulders down, slide your shoulder blades down, look over back shoulders, stay on your sit bones high and tall, and twist. And again, feel free to move around. There's no wrong or right, there's no good or bad in life. Make it yours. Twisting, reaching, beautiful. And then on our next inhalation, we'll come back to center. And we'll do this dynamic. So exhale, fingers dip onto left. You're welcome to round or lift. Inhale to center, exhale, fingers dip onto right, and go a little deeper into the twist. Inhale to center, exhale to left, following the pace of your own breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Going a little deeper each time and moving into spaces within you that are a bit stiff and tight. And then once you're evened out, we find our hands above our head. And from here, we'll slowly lift our feet up, bring our knees and our feet together, our knees and our toes. We'll wrap our arms around our legs so that we can hold them in deep to chest. And if you need your hands on your thighs, Instead, you can do that, and then see if you can point your feet up, bring them down, maybe up. Some of us might fall over and roll, and that's okay. Maybe flexing the toes, flexing the feet as we reach our feet up. How's that? And notice what it feels like. Beautiful. Maybe we can stay here and reach our arms up too. Yay! And our feet come down, hip wide apart. Make sure there's enough mat behind you, so if you need to move forward, ground your feet and then round yourself down onto mat. And start with the tailbone, with the sacrum, lower back. Roll through the space between your shoulder blades. Keep your lower back on the mat as you reach your arms up and over. Stretch yourself out. Lower back, lower ribs on earth. Inhale here, and then chin to chest coming forward. We're tapping into our center. If you need to grab your thighs to help you roll up, you're welcome to. One vertebra at a time, one vertebra at a time. And not using the hip flexors, but really using the navel center. Coming up, we'll roll back down and count the vertebrae you come across. 1, 2, broaden it into earth, reach your arms up and over. Let's do that again, chin to chest. Coming up, sliding hands up along the thighs. Ground your feet deeply into earth and reach it up with the big wide open heart. We'll do one more, rounding down, one vertebra at a time, imprinting into mat. Arms come up and over, stretch and reach, chin to chest, rolling up. Well done. And then the hands come down onto earth, spreading fingers pointing in the same direction as the toes. And then just gently roll circles around your wrists. So shift your weight. So let's lift our sit bones. How about that? Can we shift our hips to heels? Just gently reaching forward. Now roll your shoulders back. Keep your chest wide and open. And then coming back, can we hover our hips between our hands? And maybe not, maybe just towards our hands. And then forwards again, stretching the wrists. Spread your fingers wide, preparing your hands to be really awesome feet. Be free to flow. And we're working our center at the same time. Beautiful. Awesome. And then we'll come to sit. We'll bring our feet out one way and we'll just roll over our knees onto hands and knees. Spreading fingers wide. Now our wrists are warmed up a bit. You can check again. Moving weight forwards and back. Have your wrists parallel. Spread your fingers out wide as you can. So really check out your hands. They're becoming feet now. Take your knees, your feet, they're hip wide apart. And then just lift your knees to stretch out feet. Lifting knees. Point your toes. Beautiful. Strong, long line through your heart. Knees come back down. And this time we'll tuck our toes under. And then we'll keep our toes tucked. As we inhale, we arch. So we lift our sternum forwards, our collarbones forwards. Bend your elbows a little and hug them into hips. So your elbows point towards your hips. And then you can straighten them again without locking them back, but hugging them in, lifting heart, lifting sit bones, lifting navel at the same time, not just hanging here, but strong. And then as you exhale, you round it out. Point your tailbone down and forwards. Round it to the space between shoulder blades. Broaden your lower ribs. On your next inhalation, you arch. So exploring your own range of movement. Move with your own breath. Exhale to round and inhale to arch. Keep your hands grounded. Keep your elbows tucked in. So there's a lot of things to pay attention to at once. Flow through the movement. Almost like the movement is flowing through you. So not a cognitive exercise. We're not conceptualizing movement. We're in it. We're letting breath breathe us. We let this movement flow through us. Think of the ocean like waves. And then in your own time, find your neutral spine. So the longest line from tailbone into neck. And from here we lift our knees
And from here we reach our hands forward. Our weight moves into heels, into feet. And then we unravel our legs into down dog. So sit bones reach high. We bend one knee at a time. Landing in your down dog, check your hands there, shoulder wide at least. Spread the fingers wide. And again, the elbows, bend them a little, hug them into hips. And then you can extend them again. But keep that beautiful external rotation while at the same time your shoulder blades stay broad. Lift and lower one heel at a time, and then maybe we lift both heels at once. Stretching out all the toes. Let's bend the knees and point the sit bones up as much as we can. And it might be different for you than it is for me. So embrace where you're at. And then have a look forward while your sternum sinks to toes. And be in it. So already this might need a bit of courage here. So find breath into it. Take another inhale here and exhale, lower your heels. Drop your head, shake your head no and nod your head yes. Find a down dog that's more of a resetting than a challenging down dog. And then from here, we'll walk our hands to feet. Hands to feet. So our hands come onto feet, they slide up to our knees and onto our thighs. And again, we hug our elbows in, we lift our chest, we lift our hips, our bum, our sit bones. We inhale here, and as we exhale, we fold over our legs. You're welcome to bend your knees, to just let your head drop, your arms drop. Feel that strong foundation through the feet. So maybe lift your toes, spread them out. Feel that centeredness. And from here, you might be able to lift sit bones a little higher. You might be able to straighten out legs, but it's not what it's about. It's about finding that groundedness and the lift. And from here, we bend our knees deeper. We point our tailbone down, round our spine out as we roll ourselves up to stand. We come up to stand. We roll our shoulders back and forwards a few times. Relaxing shoulders down. Lengthen through crown. Really feel your shoulder blades slide around on your ribs. We want that mobility. And then we reach our arms through the sides and up above. Grab the space above your head and relax your shoulders down as you exhale. Inhale to lift through crown. We'll lift onto toes. So we lift our heels up high. Create a strong sense of lift all the way from the balls of your toes, through your inner legs, through your pelvic floor, through your spine into crown, and everything on the outside can soften. So you're not reaching from the shoulders, you're reaching through your center. And we're on our toes. And let's see if we can come into Utkatasana. So imagine a high chair behind your mat. And while you're on your toes, you want to try and get your sit bones onto that high chair behind you. And if on the toes is a bit much, just bring your heels down. Look forward. Keep lifting through your center. Soften through your periphery. Let's take another inhale for length and space. Exhale, heels down. Another inhale for space. Exhale, we fold forwards. Tummy rests onto thighs and the arms are allowed to hang. Maybe we can strive a little higher through the back legs. Wiggle your toes, they don't need to hold on to mat. Sway from left foot to right, back and forth. Front feet and back feet. Let your head hang. And then we bend our knees, look forwards, find the front of our mat and find our plank. In our plank, we step our feet a little further apart. And we press our heels back. We bring our shoulders to be above our hands and we lift our head backwards. So we lift our head up, looking slightly forwards. Again, bend your elbows a little, tuck them in, and then maybe straighten them out again. Keep your shoulders relaxed. If your knees need to help, they're totally welcome to help. But be in your center. Remember how we were breathing ourselves long and tall through our center when we were standing? Do the same thing. Imagine you're basically standing, just a different alignment in space. Keep pointing tailbone back. Keep lifting sternum forward. And check in. Please don't stop breathing ever. but breathe and breathe, and your knees are so welcome to help. And lift your navel even higher, and breathe, and keep staying here. Beautiful. Let's together take another inhalation, and as we exhale, we shift our hips up and find down dog. Let your head hang, open your collarbones, open your armpits, soften. And we'll move back into plank, like a wave flowing through your body, coming into plank. Nape into your navel, find that strong center. We'll roll our outer right heel onto mat, inner left heel onto mat. So you just roll over onto right hand side. Good. Press your hands into earth. Good. And maybe you can round through feet and lift the top arm up. Good. Lift the hips. Shift your hips forwards. Point your tailbone away. Open your heart. Trust your hands. Trust the earth. Breathe. And hand comes down. Inhale, plank. Rolling back onto toes. Let's shift, exhale into down dog for a moment. Just releasing. Flow forwards again into plank. Notice the stories your head might have. Notice the sensations. We roll our left heel down, our inner right heel down. We ground into left hand. We take a moment here. Lift through navel. And then lift through arm. Shift your hips forward. Open your heart wide. Lift yourself up as if you're weightless. Looking up, expanding up. Feel your center. Trust yourself. Another big deep inhale here. Exhale to go deeper. Another inhale and exhale, hand down. Inhale, plank. Exhale, your knees down onto earth. Your toes back. And then point your tailbone down, down, down. Let your hips drop and let your heart rise. If this is a bit much, maybe you want to be here. So do what's true for you. If you can, reach up all the way. Soften into hip flexors. Keeping lower back long, then this is where you're at. Take another big inhale, exhale to contract inwards. Find hands and knees, tucking toes, shifting hips back into down dog. Look at the space between your hands. Lift your heels up high, bend your knees deep. See the space between your hands and then see your right foot landing there. So right foot, it might need a hand or it might just land there. Right foot forward. Left knee comes onto mat. Left toes point back. Check foot and knee, they're hip wide. Gently sway a bit. We want to open here. So sway a bit. Open left hip flexors. See what it feels like to align your hips and your chest with the front of your mat. So finding some space, and then the left hand grounds into earth. Right hand onto knee. Just gently open your chest. Slide your shoulder blades down. Taking it a little deeper into here, and this might be enough, or you might want to reach your right hand back and away. So open your chest, open your collarbones, open your chest wide at the same time as you drop your sacrum, your pelvis forward. So maybe take that back hand onto tailbone and just gently poke your tailbone forwards and open a little further. Just to check your alignment, and then we'll reach our right hand up and we'll bring it back to outer right foot. Make these little domes in line with heel, and let's shift it back. Straighten out your front leg, folding over it. Maybe the toes come up. We'll move forwards again. Flow a little, and then moving back. And one more time, coming forwards. Hands stack onto knee. We push ourselves away from knee. Okay, we're going deeper into here. Can you feel that? Your hips, everything in alignment with the front. You shift a little deeper. Point your tailbone down. If you want to use your hand to point the tailbone down, you can do that, or just find that alignment. If you want to lift your arms up, and you're really strong through your center, so you lift yourself tall through your center, and then maybe you can sink a little deeper into it, but pause where you're at. Go as far as you need to. Honor your body, celebrate your body. We're all different. Find space wherever you're at. Relax your shoulders, maybe lifting gaze. Soften wherever you can, especially the jaw. No grinding teeth, no holding breath. We're flowing. Remember Bruce Lee saying, be like water. Hands come down. And if you think this is easy for me, it's not. Okay? Tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee. Find your feet. Hands onto knee. We slowly stack ourselves up. And then lift yourself all the way up into this lunge warrior. So now we're on our feet. We're grounded. Right foot grounded fully. Left heel, lower it and lift it. Find your knees striving into opposite directions. Your left hip rolls forwards, your right hip back. Be in it. And reach from here. The stronger your foundation, the stronger your center, the more openness and reach there is. And as we expand and reach, we breathe and we keep meandering our awareness through our body. Now, let's bring hands onto knee, hugging the knee. And we'll check in, see what it takes to find our right foot and balance on it. And this might be more than enough. If you're lucky like me, you can lean your head into a wall or a window. But otherwise, be here, right knee slightly bent. And you might be able to lift your left leg a little bit higher. But gently holding right knee and notice all that's happening, all that balancing that's happening. Breathe deeply into your center. Find ease and lightness wherever you can. Stepping foot back. Right knee above heel, left toes back, reaching arms up. Beautiful. We inhale here. We exhale, leaning forwards. One more time. Arms come through the sides. Palms face forward. Make yourself as super spacious as you possibly can. Really reach. Find your right foot again and step into this superhero shape. And now right glute is shouting. Mine is also. Right leg is shaking. I am too. Be with it. Be with it. Stay with it. No grinding teeth, no growling. Put a smile in your eyes. Put a smile on your face. And step it back. And do a bit of a yay, yay. Inhale here. And exhale, hands onto mat. Beautiful. So our right leg is awake now, I think. Grounding hands, grounding left foot. Reach your right leg up. Can we lift it up? Yes, yes, yes. Breathe. Stretch into right heel. Relax your neck. Breathe it up and bring it down onto mat. Whew. Down dog. Let's move into plank. Let's bring, so if chaturanga is part of your practice, go for it. Otherwise, just the knees down. All the toes point back. We squeeze our glutes to point our tailbone down and forwards. And from here, we lift our heart. Tucking your elbows into hips, just lifting gaze. Open heart wide. Back onto hands and knees, strong navel. Tucking toes under again, lifting hips into down dog. We lift both heels, stretch out our toes, bend both knees. Look forward, see the space between your hands. Make as much space between body and mat as you possibly can. And find your left foot between your hands. However it gets there, it doesn't matter. Fingertips on the mat, soften. Ground your right knee down. Gently rest it down. If you need to move it back a bit, you can. Left knee above heel. Point your right toes back. And all we do is sway a little. We sway a little. We let our knees strive into opposite directions. Right hand under shoulder, flat onto mat, left hand onto knee. Make sure you relax your shoulders. So it's very tempting to do something like this. See if you can open up. Good. Maybe the hand comes back. Make the space from wrist to wrist, your collarbones, as long as you possibly can. And breathe here and notice if this is familiar or unfamiliar. comfortable, uncomfortable. We might remember aches we have forgotten in a long time. Maybe backhand onto sacrum. Point your tailbone downwards. Lift your heart a little higher. Very good. Left hand comes to outer left heel. And then we just slide our hips back to wherever you get to. Maybe you're here. Maybe the leg wants to straighten all the way, or the toes towards you. Lots of space into front torso, coming forwards again, shifting back again. Space in our hips is super useful. It's the biggest joint in our body, and it has the strongest muscles in our body, and it's usually where we are the stiffest. So finding space is really, really powerful. It allows our spine to find its natural alignment. It allows our shoulders and chest to open up. Bring your fingertips onto mat. Make these domes alongside the heel. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee. Front knee above heel. Oh, let's come up. Let's come up. Knee above heel. Bring your pelvis to be upright. Bring your right hip forward. Your left hip back. Bring your right heel back. Opening up, finding a strong stance. Right hip keeps rolling forward, left hip keeps rolling back. Maybe even lifting the hands. Imagine your fingertips were connected to your front hip bone. So as you reach your arms up, you can literally feel yourself go a little deeper into right hip flexors. You might be able to sink a little deeper into legs. Lots of space in your lower back. To make sure we do that, we have to work with our glutes and with our core. Beautiful. And then how about we bring our hands onto knee. We hold our left knee with lots of love and kindness. We feed it with courage. We treat it with curiosity. We find our left leg, and then the right leg rises up. And there might be a massive difference between the sides because our legs are tired, or because our legs are different. Notice what's there. Notice what's there. Stay with it. See if you can go a little deeper. Maybe it feels like you're doing yoga on a boat right now. Then just be with that. And step it down. Good. Find your lunge, warrior. We rise our arms up. We spread our fingers and just bring them slightly outwards. So these poses are called warrior poses because I think what they do is they bring out the warrior we all have inside. So we're claiming space. We bring our hands in line with hips. We reach our chest forward. Think of Wonder Woman. No, she can't fly. Wonder Woman can't fly. Think of Superman. And then finding left foot again. Reaching right leg up. Taking flight. How's that? Strong center. Notice whether you're sinking, shrinking into mat, or can you really expand. Whew. And step it down. Earth is shaking. Reaching arms up in celebration. And exhale, hands down onto mat. Hands become feet. Spreading fingers wide. Make space. Left leg up into three-legged downward facing dog. Let go of all tension. Inhale here, whew, exhale, leg down. We'll bring our knees onto earth. We'll point our toes back and just slide our sit bones onto heels. Rest your forehead onto mat or onto hands. If you don't need your hands here, you can have your hands alongside the feet, palms facing up. Let your spine open. Let your shoulder blades slide apart. Enjoy that spaciousness. If you feel like being still, be still. If you'd like to move, move. Give yourself permission to be. Let your breath calm down. Again, notice tapping back into the subtle layers of this practice. In our own time, we roll ourselves up to sit. So, rounding your spine, coming up, head coming up last. Slide your shoulders up and down a few times. And when you're ready, take time, make sure you You are adjusted. You come onto knees. Now check your knees. They're hip wide and your feet as well, so your shins are parallel. And then your hands are going to point your tailbone downwards. Your back pelvis wants to point down. Your front pelvis wants to lift up. And already from here, as your thighs press forwards, you're really strong in your glutes, really strong in your navel. You might find an opening here. And this might be absolutely enough if you want to just stay here and work on lifting navel, lifting front hips, tucking back hips, extending spine. That might be more than enough. If there is more space, for some of us, we might be able to reach the heels. But be really honest. Notice where's the greatest benefit for me? Right here, right now. And finding that edge, that's your edge today. And breathing. Always having in mind to make space before you go into any deep opening. Space first, and then decisions and choices. Always making space first. We slowly come out from wherever we were. We slowly bring our hands onto earth, and we release in our own perfect way. So it might be cat and cow, arching and rounding, or it might be circling. Let your body move organically. We're not two-dimensional beings. We can move in a million ways, and let this time be a time to explore that, your own time on your own mat. And then I'd love us to come back onto heels, onto sit bones. And we'll place our hands onto earth in line with shoulders, and we already know that our hands are really strong and we trust them. Hug our elbows into hips, and then draw a triangle on your mat. And if your mat is quite thin and you want a bit of a cushion there, you can place a bit of a cushion there, and then the crown of your head lands on the tip of the triangle. And check out your hands. Gently look left and right. Your elbows above your wrists, your fingers are spreading wide, and this might be absolutely enough. You're welcome to just stay here. Feel the ground, feel your head on the ground, and if you've had enough, just slide your sit bones on heels into child's pose. But if you want, tuck your toes under and press your toes into mat to lift the knees. And so today we're being curious. We're being courageous. And sometimes for me, just saying I'm going to be courageous makes me feel afraid. So I'd rather be curious. That sounds more doable. So elbows above wrists, and you might be able to walk your toes a little closer. For some, maybe the knees land on the elbows. I find that quite fun. For some of us, the knees are going to start striving up, and the toes are going to start striving up to ceiling. And be where you're at. Be where you're at, and notice the stories you might be holding in your mind. Because usually it's not the situation that is the challenge. It's our past, it's our baggage. It's all these times we might have tried this and it didn't work out. Or we might hold the story, oh no, I can't do that. What if you swipe all of that away and you're fully present? Just this moment is all there is. Fully filled with curiosity. Suddenly you might find, oh, curious. Look, this lifts up. This lifts up. Oh, this feels interesting. And let's find our way back down onto earth. So the feet come down, the knees come down, the sit bones slide to heels. And we're just going to park in child's pose for a moment to notice, to feel, to let it sink in, and also to prepare to be able to have our heads back above our body. So when you're ready, come back up to sit on your heels and check in. If you're dizzy, pause. If you feel like, okay, I got this, slowly find your way into plank. One of our favorite poses, isn't it? Good thing we have our knees. They're always welcome to help. And from plank, because we're strong and courageous, we'll go into one more side plank. So outer right heel rolls down, inner left heel rolls down. If you need to shift your feet, do so. Really ground the outside edges into mat and lift the top hand up. And how about maybe the left leg? And can we also lift the corners of our mouth while we do this? And breathing also. Amazing. Good. Hand down, leg down. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Shake your head no. Oh dear. What did I get myself into? And nod your head yes, because we can't wait to check out the other side. So shoulders above hands, plank, feet nice and wide. Outer left heel rolls down, inner right heel. Trust your feet, ground, rise into arm. Strong center, maybe the top leg lifts, maybe. Pointing your toes away from one another. Trust your left foot to ground. Trust your center. Another inhale and exhale, hand down, foot down. Inhale, plank. Maybe going through your cobra or up dog or straight into your down dog. Amazing. Well done. Look at your hands and then start walking your hands to feet. As you walk your hands to feet, at the same time, you walk your feet apart. You point your toes to the sides so that you can come into a squat. Well done. So grounding your feet into earth. If that doesn't work, you're on your toes. You can slide something under your heels, or you can just be on your toes. And we'll use our elbows to open our knees wide. So open the knees with your elbows and then check into your glutes, into your backside and see where might I need to contract to keep my knees here. And then see if you can lift your elbows and hands up and keep your knees as wide as they are right now. Slide your shoulder blades down, lift your heart. Your toes might want to hold on to earth. Relax them. One more inhale here. Exhale, hands onto mat. Sink into the space between your knees. Keep your knees nice and wide. Rest your hands on mat and we'll just lift our hips up. Gentle forward fold. Keep your feet exactly as they are. Sway and circle, move left and right. We come back into squat. One more time, we bring our elbows to inner knees. See if you can bring your hands together. Open your knees even wider. Now check into your spine. Are you rounding? Are you collapsing? Or can you get a sense of lift into this? Good. And then we lift our fingers up, up, up. Keep your knees wide. Keep your knees wide. Lift your gaze, lift your heart. Open your hands through the sides. Fingertips come onto mat behind us. We sit. We bring the soles of our feet together. We might need to keep our hands here to be upright. So as you sit, you want to be on the front sit bones, not collapsing backwards. Use your hands to be tall. If you can be tall here and you're quite used to this, you're welcome to bring your hands onto feet. And just gently butterfly your knees open, lift them up and down. Relax your inner thighs. Keep lifting through your heart. So hands behind you is perfect if that helps you stay long in your spine. If you, let's become still in the legs and just open the knees out wide. Maybe you open your big toe side as well, as if you're reading your feet like a book. Or maybe you lean forwards, you hinge forwards from the hips. Continue to slide your shoulder blades down to pelvis and keep your heart wide and open and explore your inner body. Where do I relax and where do I contract to go a little deeper into this? And we lengthen up. We grab our knees and we gently lift them, lift our feet off the mat, and then what we do is we'll open the knees and step our feet apart. Good. Again, you want to be on the tips of your sit bones, so maybe you need to move a bit of jiggly bits away. Open the knees wide, and then either fingertips are here to support us be straight, or the hands come forward. And then we'll slide our heels away. Very good. Simply sliding them away. And this might be enough for you. You might be able to gently open the feet a little wider, grounding both sit bones evenly into earth, creating length. Stay here if this is good. If your inner thighs are screaming, this is probably enough. If you feel like, oh no, there's way more space, then maybe the chest wants to come forward. But none of that has to happen. What the outer shape looks like is not important. It's about what it feels like. And if you come forwards, or even if you're up here, I suggest, how about leaning towards right leg, leaning towards left leg. Just finding a bit of space. The inner thighs and the hamstrings can get very tight if you run a lot, if you do a lot of other sports that are very strong. You might notice that this is not so easy. Taking our time here. As I said, big joints, big muscles. So if these muscles have been holding tension for a long time, it's big tension. Okay, let's come back up. We gently grab behind our knees and just bring them up and in. And we'll move ourselves to the front of our mat so that we can reach our hands forwards and roll ourselves down. Again, round yourself out. Hollow out your belly. Point your tailbone down, round yourself onto mat. Stretch your arms up and over, and let's lift our feet up to ceiling. So if this is really difficult for you, you can just drop your knees into chest maybe. Keep your tailbone, your lower back on the mat. If you can stretch your feet up, that's fine. Circle and flex and point your feet. Taking a moment to let all blood and fluid move out of feet, down the legs, into heart. And as we do so, we slowly bring our arms out to the side. So palms facing up, and reach your hands away. Inhale to reach your arms out even further, and as you exhale, you soften your shoulder blades into earth. You soften your lower back, your spine into earth. And then we'll bring our feet and knees together. Let our heels drop to hips. Inhale here in center. And we'll just exhale to drop them over to the left. Stack your hips and stack your knees and stack your feet. And then slowly take your gaze over towards the right. So you want to add some weight into right shoulder. If you notice your right arm hovering somewhere in space because it's really difficult to open, then you're welcome to place your right hand onto rib cage or onto hip, wherever it helps you. And if you can, and as we stay here longer, you notice how spaces open up, eventually turning gaze to right hand, and then eventually even maybe as if you could drop your right cheek into earth. Breathe deep and wide into right rib cage, along the right sacrum. Continue to let your knees and feet rest into gravity. And remain curious. It's very tempting as we slow down for the mind to drift off, or for us to say, oh, this is not so important, I'll just pack up. But stay with it, be with it. This is what the whole practice is about. Inhale here, exhale through your navel, strong, knees come to center. Wrap your arms around your knees, hug your knees in tight, lift your chin to chest and sense and feel, lift your tailbone, round yourself out. And exhale, your torso, your head comes back onto mat, arms out to the side, as much space as possible. Inhale here in center, we exhale our knees over the other way. And you might want to start with your gaze towards the right, the same direction as your knees. Let your hips stack, let your knees drop into gravity. And then after a few breaths, you might notice space opening up and then turning gaze towards the left, reaching into left hand, letting your left shoulder drop into earth. Soften your neck, open a little deeper, open a little further. Beautiful. And watch and witness how the body softens into space. How much space there is if we just give it a pause, if we add a little bit of patience. Let's inhale your exhale, knees back to center, hug them in, and we'll come into Shavasana. So if you want to put on something warm, you can do that. Or see if there's anything else your body might need this moment. You'll find your own way into Shavasana. When you're ready, straightening out your legs. If you need a bit of cushions underneath your knees because your lower back's a bit tender right now, do that. Let your sacrum rest. Bring your hands down alongside your hips, palms facing up, curling fingers in. Wiggle your toes, shift your feet. Make sure you're not holding on to any tension. Your shoulder blades gently tucked under, nice and broad. Your neck nice and broad, your collarbones broad, and then close your eyes. In yoga tradition, this is considered the most important and most difficult asana of all of them. As humans, we seem to be quite good in focusing and paying attention when things are challenging. We seem to be not so good at being as focused when things simply are. And to me, that's what Shavasana is. It's the question, can I be as present with the softness and with the stillness and with the relaxation as I can be present with the challenge, the contraction. So having your eyes closed, can you consciously relax your eyelids? Consciously relax the space between your eyebrows, maybe turning your inner gaze upwards. Check in, am I really resting my head into mat, or am I actually holding on? Guide your awareness to collarbones and move left and right and notice, am I holding on? Could I relax and soften a little bit more? And in that same manner, meander your awareness through body. Make sure you pause at your hips and check in. Am I holding on? Could I relax a little more? We often think to stretch, we need to work and really stretch. But what if Shavasana actually is the most powerful stretch of all of them? Simply by moving our attention and awareness and consciously connecting with each body part and each muscle, we relax. And what are we relaxing into? We're relaxing into this moment. We're relaxing into what's spacious within us. We fill each breath and each moment with curiosity. We connect with our space within us that knows. A space inside us that can guide us,
that knows where we need to lean, where we need to be courageous, and where else we might just need to nurture and nourish ourselves. The word courage comes from heart, the French word cœur. Feeling into heart. Let your body relax. The armors we have put on throughout life to protect us and defend us, let all that soften. As you connect to heart, remember that this world is a friendly world. Your essence is pure goodness. And because your essence is that, everyone else's is too. Connect to that, so that others who come into your presence feel inspired, connect to the goodness within themselves as well. Maybe this moment pull out this situation, this image of what's challenging for you at the moment, that space that needs courage. Pull it out, bring it to mind. Look at it, deeply grounded in your heart space. And notice if the feel of it might have shifted, might have changed. Simply notice, be curious. And then we let it go again. And we know and we trust that when the time is right, we will know what to do and how to do it. But right now, come back to breath. Deeply connected to breath, deepest curiosity. Inhale deep and wide. Exhale deep and wide. Breathe it all out. Inhale in whatever might serve you this moment, and exhale out everything. And when you're ready, this breath will bring movement back into your body. Any kind of movement. Maybe just the idea of movement. And when you're ready, you'll roll over onto your right hand side. Draw your knees up to chest. Hug your arms around you or rest your head on your hand. Let your body adjust, and when you're ready, slowly, effortlessly come up to sit. Let your body stack, head coming up last. We're coming back to where we started, closing the circle, sitting high and tall, hands onto thighs. Notice what's alive within you right now. Deeply grounded in this moment, we'll bring our hands together just in front of us. No tension in shoulders or neck, and we gently rub our hands. No tension. Lots of lightness. Warming up the hands. Rub them as if you're making fire until you feel warmth on the inside of your hands. And when you're ready, bring them onto heart. Let this be a gesture of deeply thanking yourself. And as we do so, we deeply thank one another. We inhale together, lifting into hearts and faces, putting a smile in our closed eyes. And as we exhale, we bow, bowing the knowledge of our minds to the courageous wisdom of our hearts. Slowly lift your gaze, open your eyes. Thank you all for starting the day with me. It was such an honor, such a joy. You were amazing. Thank you. Warriors.